ya na im to share kakra wo. Mekai se momo ikra no a year or two ago. The phone so now call filling station. I almost call withdraw brands now for the cash number. It took a long time. As an Ghana for every year to so I will transfer call phones where I see what into BB Ashasiano. Ayana a dim reka cransana a man for a jatu. At Kakra best friend say Emma confusion via Emma Momo and then a 4 DJ Abai. Study name no da Momo na used to da Jitiaka. No one should say na bind the Abba. It's a best man for especially more Momo Yejumano. You be in Tiasia, no miss any trainer. Now, so yes, I won't give Momo. That's a Utia Ghana Mra, no cramp on your bit my report to the best man for say. Among Emma Momo transactions and costing Yejumano.
The expected revenues are not being met as of now. But at least we thank God that we have been able to introduce a tax handle that is also going to contribute to the revenue mobilization of our country in the long term. So one of the key financial anchors of the USTAT is going to be the revenues from the levy.
I asked this question about how is it doing because the success of this initiative also will be critical on the levy. And I remember 2 or 3 months ago, even 6 months ago, we had a discussion last studio, and you pointed to us that you've done your research and you talked about how there will be some attrition rates and all the rest. Per the projections that you did, and you always work out the numbers monthly, what will come in and all the rest. Are we meeting that target or is slightly behind?
Slightly behind, but we are on course. We believe that, and at the moment we are still not on the common platform for all the stakeholders who collect, the levy to be on at real time. So obviously we'll still have some down times. But I believe from July, when all the telcos and all the stakeholders who are supposed to collect, the banks and everybody are on one platform, under the supervision of the GRA, and we can know in real time. So we're going to see a lot of improvement.
Government never said that. I'm sure people either don't read or don't understand what government said. In the 2018 budget, government said that we were going to build the cathedral. In fact, even in 2022 budget, we announced that it will cost us $200 million to build it. But we expressly stated that we're going to do that in order not to put undue financial burden. We're going to do that jointly in partnership with the Christian community and private individuals who will come on board to support the project. Joint or partnership undertaking doesn't mean that government doesn't have anything in it. And already government has provided land. And even pull down houses in order to have that land available for the project. So where did government say we're not going to put in taxpayers' money? What about the land we have provided? And we announced that we're going to give seed money. And this transaction we are talking about is part of the seed money. And we are raising the rest in partnership with private partners, the Christian community and individuals among. So there is nothing illegitimate about this transaction. We are doing exactly what we said we would do. As for what the NDC are announcing about poor people and arrears in payment, when they were in government, their priority was to pay judgment debt. They used Ghana's money. They paid 51 million cedis to Wayome, who had no contract with government. That's why we didn't have poor people in Ghana. When they were, according to Matiamidu, when judgment debt became business of the day under the NDC government, and they were paying hundreds of millions of dollars to Waterville, Isopoton. Didn't we have arrears of teacher training college and they even cancelled allowances? Didn't we have the poor people in Ghana? So this kind of populist basis allegation, no, this one we know the circumstances of that. Have you ever seen any government in Ghana since you were born or even in our history where a government officials chase private people to come and collect money from government in the name of judgment debt? This is what happened. This is exactly what we are talking about. Even those without contract, like Wayome, as the court has determined. Okay, so I'm just speaking to facts about things that the court has pronounced on. the court said that they were doing loot and share in order to take government's money. And immediately it was paid. Okay, even where court said they shouldn't pay, they went ahead and paid because that was their priority. And we are saying that our priority is to build a national cathedral in fulfillment of the president's promise in his campaign. If the president came to my village in his campaign and said he'll build a road or a school, a hospital, and he won the election, are we saying that he must build that road or school with his personal pocket money? No. We never said anywhere that the president pledges or promise is going to be done from his personal pocket. We never said that anywhere. It has become part of the government priority, but we will bring down the burden by sharing it with the private sector, especially the Christian community and individuals who are willing to come on board. First of all, it's not true that it didn't come to budget or it's not in the budget. And we will hold them to strict proof. As for the NDC and the minority, they always cry foul where there is none. They just want to hold on to straws on issues that are non-existent. We want to challenge them. If they say it's not in the budget, they should file the necessary questions in Parliament, and we'll show them where within the budget the Minister of Finance has the right to do what he has done. Well, I don't have the budget with me, but we announced it in the budget from 2018, and even in the 2022 budget, we stated that we will need $200 million to complete it, and that will go through the usual partnership arrangement, and even announced a short code about how we're going to raise the money. Yes, everybody in Ghana heard this. Then all of a sudden, they want to tell us we didn't talk about the National Cathedral, is not in the budget. That's the problem. Either they don't read, or they read and they don't understand, or they pretend not to know that it is in the budget.
You can go and check. And then also the amount per hectare paid to every cocoa farmer in Ghana is 1,000 Ghana cedis and not 400 Ghana cedis. And you took the cocoa production from 900,000. By the time you left, it was 700,000. Mr. Speaker, this is the first time in the history of Ghana that Ghana's cocoa production has hit 1,047,000 tons, metric tons in our country. So let us not create the impression that cocoa production is going on. And our farmers are also receiving premium for the prices that they sell their cocoa because of the partnership with Côte d'Ivoire. So, Mr. Speaker, the President's message of hope contained in the State of the Nation's address is valid. In the days and weeks ahead of us, we will see a gradual restoration of economic indicators, the commission of more projects like we just did in Tamale Interchange, stabilization of the Ghanaian cedi. You may conclude. Yes, opportunity for any young person to walk into a bank and access a loan under the USTAT under concessionary terms, reduction in fuel prices and several others. All these are the hopes of the Ghanaian. We believe that His Excellency President Nana Akufo-Addo is working. The MPP government is working. And we can do it and achieve it if we put our hearts and our minds to it. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah!
Go to the IMF today, we will not go to IMF tomorrow, and we are not going as long as the NPP remains in power. Mr. Speaker, looking beyond go to the IMF today, we will not go to IMF tomorrow, and we are not going as long as the NPP remains in power.
Benam so ama ban ti ma je to de abo o man o ka so won dia e din kan wo ti a o man mra e to so mi no o tre se won ye o man bapa nti ye besra manfo but de mene o mo be ya adwen ene se ade bia e ba foforo a ya na ye mtuse kakra wo me kai se mo mo ikra no a year or two ago da o phone so na o call filling station I almost call withdraw brands now for the cash number. It took a long time. Sana Ghana for Ebeja Atum so say we transfer call phones where I see what into Bibi Asha no Ayana a dimre kakra sana amanfo agye ato but kakra e best friend say emma confusion bia emma momo ene eto DJ ya abai eye study enim no da momo na yusu da gituaka no one say na aban bia aba nti e best amanfo especially mo amode momo ye adwuma no you'll be in Tiasia, no miss any train. Now, so yes, I won't be Momo. Now, so Utia, Ghana, Mra, no cramp on your bit my report to your best raman for say. One Emma Momo transactions and costing you.
The expected revenues are not being met as of now, but at least we thank God that we have been able to introduce a tax handle that is also going to contribute to the revenue mobilization of our country in the long term. So one of the key financial anchors of the USTAT is going to be the revenues from the E-levy.
I asked this question about how is it doing because the success of this initiative also will be critical on the E-levy. And I remember 2 or 3 months ago, even 6 months ago, we had a discussion last studio, and you pointed to us that you've done your research and you talked about how there will be some attrition rates and all the rest. Per the projections that you did, and you always work out the numbers monthly, what will come in and all the rest. Are we meeting that target or is slightly behind?
Slightly behind, but we are on course. We believe that, and at the moment we are still not on the common platform for all the stakeholders who collect, the E-levy to be on at real time. So obviously we'll still have some down times. But I believe from July, when all the telcos and all the stakeholders who are supposed to collect, the banks and everybody are on one platform, under the supervision of the GRA, and we can know in real time. So we're going to see a lot of improvement.
Government never said that. I'm sure people either don't read or don't understand what government said. In the 2018 budget, government said that we were going to build a cathedral. In fact, even in 2022 budget, we announced that it will cost us $200 million to build it. But we expressly stated that we're going to do that in order not to put undue financial burden. We're going to do that jointly in partnership with the Christian community and private individuals who will come on board to support the project. Joint or partnership undertaking doesn't mean that government doesn't have anything in it. And already government has provided land and even pull down houses in order to have that land available for the project. So where did government say we're not going to put in taxpayers' money? What about the land we have provided? And we announced that we're going to give seed money. And this transaction we are talking about is part of the seed money. And we are raising the rest in partnership with private partners, the Christian community and individuals among. So there is nothing illegitimate about this transaction. We are doing exactly what we said we would do. As for what the NDC are announcing about poor people and arrears in payment, when they were in government, their priority was to pay judgment debt. They used Ghana's money. They paid 51 million cedis to Wyoming, who had no contract with government. That's why we didn't have poor people in Ghana. When they were, according to Matiamidu, when judgment debt became business of the day under the NDC government, and they were paying hundreds of millions of dollars to Waterville, Isopoton, Didn't we have arrears of teacher training college and they even cancelled allowances? Didn't we have the poor people in Ghana? So this kind of populist basis allegation, no, this one we know the circumstances of that. Have you ever seen any government in Ghana since you were born or even in our history where a government officials chase private people to come and collect money from government in the name of judgment? This is what happened. This is exactly what we are talking about. Even those without contract, like William, as the court has determined. Okay, so I'm just speaking to facts about things that the court has pronounced on. The court said that they were doing loot and share in order to take government's money. And immediately it was paid. Okay, even where court said they shouldn't pay, they went ahead and paid because that was their priority. And we are saying that our priority is to build a national cathedral in fulfillment of the president's promise in his campaign. If the president came to my village in his campaign and said he'll build a road or a school, a hospital, and he won the election, are we saying that he must build that road or school with his personal pocket money? No. We never said anywhere that the president pledges or promise is going to be done from his personal pocket. We never said that anywhere. It has become part of the government priority, but we will bring down the burden by sharing it with the private sector, especially the Christian community and individuals who are willing to come on board. First of all, it's not true that it didn't come to budget or it's not in the budget. And we will hold them to strict proof. As for the NDC and the minority, they always cry foul where there is none. They just want to hold on to straws on issues that are non-existent. We want to challenge them. If they say it's not in the budget, they should file the necessary questions in Parliament.
I know it's in order.
Honourable members, sitting is accordingly suspended. Serving member of Parliament, I experienced what you are experiencing. So I know it. We even held 2 meetings with former members of Parliament where you do the public hearing. We held 2 meetings with former members of Parliament. To use the forum, they have former members of Parliament forum, which was very active when Honorable Kosi Kedem was president. When he handed over, things went down. But they have a platform, and I'm on that platform. And we struggle as of today to get them to be organized. I held another meeting with them at the same venue. We pay for their transport in and out. We provide a meal for them. And we communicated this to them again. I can tell you that every weekend, I have a delegation attending funerals of former members of Parliament. Every weekend. And I personally contribute. I make donations. So I know about it.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our joy, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
If you reach a certain stage in life and there is nobody who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth, you are doomed. And that is where our country has gotten to. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. And I feel very terrible as a Ghanaian at this time. This country is in serious trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in serious trouble. We need to rescue this country, ladies and gentlemen. The presidency has been so depraved, so muddied, so dirty, that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. Inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country.
Government is broke, government is broke. But people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
Right, hello, good morning and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. It's Friday, the 8th day of March, 2024. By His grace, we are live and we're here. We're at another edition. Our gratitude to go to Most High God for the rare privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly, but let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic. 2024 elections, guarantor system back, indelible ink remains. Africa needs more museums, Kojoyanka. John Kuma passes on. DBG partners to invest 1 billion cedis in women-led businesses. NDC confirms Professor Pukwajiman, running mate. RTI commission to sanction recalcitrant institutions. The Ghanaian Times, confirmed. NDC names Professor Pukwajiman as running mate to partner John Mahama for election 2024. Deputy Finance Minister dead. Guta appeals to government to remove COVID-19 special import levies to prevent business collapse. NPP, APC vow to deepen relationship to advance good governance in Ghana and Nigeria. Daily Guide. John Kuma dead. NPP mourns. Nigeria APC chairman visits in team. NDC confirms Nana forcing 2 others face judgment May 3. Nam1 induced public with celebrities. New weekend crusading guide. John Kuma 45 dead. President sad. Ejisu in despair as tribute point for late Deputy Finance Minister. John Mahama settles on Professor Nana Jeno Pukwajiman as running mate for December elections. Alan promises modern markets countrywide. Help transform Ghana's future through agricultural prowess of rural women. Gadangbe youth celebrate Titus Glover over his appointment as regional minister. Zonda Tech Ghana boss sentenced for contempt. The Insight. Kwame Pianim snubs Baumia, says alleged appointment as economic advisor fake news. At last, NDC again names Professor Pukwajiman as Mahama's running mate for 2024. Gadangbe Lands Administration calls on National House of Chiefs to ensure respect, adherence to culture and traditions of regions. NDC cadres and activists want running mate with known track record. Philanthropist and entrepreneur Hajia Fatima Hassan installed as Bubu Ashizongo, Kankwe South Queen Mother. China resumes shuttle diplomacy as Ukraine war drums get louder. The Herald. NDC 2024 running mate laments over national decay and widespread despondency. Akufo-Addo sparks confusion over renaming of Tamale Airport. Yana says it's unacceptable. Food poisoning engulfs Deputy Finance Minister's death. Chairman Wontumi suggests cause of John Kuma's death. EC maintains indelible link, guarantor system as it releases 2024 election calendar. The Informer. NDC running mate choice. Asiedu Nketia torpedoed Eric Opoku. Ghana's democracy, let's not take it for granted. Akufo-Addo urges. John Kuma passes on. Anti-gay bill, NDC MP in loose talk, accuses Akufo-Addo of plotting removal of former majority leader. Organized crime, Iyoko clarifies issues. The Inquisitor. Blay whips over gaff. Joy Prime offers apology. John Kuma reported dead. NPP UK family behind Baumia. NDC MPs commission world's most expensive hole for Akufo-Addo. Ghana is best destination for mining investment. Abu Jinapo. The Daily Statesman. Ghana on the verge of breakthrough. Ivorian President lauds Akufo-Addo. EC reverses decision of Ghana card use. Akufo-Addo VP eulogized John Kuma. Newmont invests 58.5 million cedis in scholarships. The Daily Searchlight. Proposed organ donation legislation. Will this important subject attract the interest of our pastors, imams, and politicians? Attempted murderer granted bail under suspicious circumstances. Mass for late Kwabena Kwachi slated for March 9. You were a truly committed member of our party and government. Vice President Baumia Mons John Kuma. NDC names Professor Nana Jenopukwajima as John Maham's running mate for 2024 presidential elections. Waste workers urge government to prioritize their issues. The New Finder. It's Prof. Jane again as NDC repeats running mate. Wales cries echo as tributes point for Dr. John Kuma. Banks post 8.3 billion cedis profit in 2023. Politicization of power outages slowing industrialization. AGI decries. Daily Post. Professor Nana gets the nod again as Maham's running mate. NDC Pro Forum USA and Canada chapter congratulates Professor Nana Jenopukwajima. I am committed to partner Mahama, ready to serve Ghana with integrity. Nana Opoku-Agyeman. It's an excellent choice. Agboja reacts to Mahama Jane ticket. Deputy Finance Minister John Kuma passes on. The Catholic Standard. Africans must acquire economic independence. Second president as he congratulates Ghana. We have a lot to be proud of. More work to do, President Akufo-Addo. Bishops' Conference commends Parliament for passing LGBTQ+ bill. Protect, Leave the Faith, Bishop Jemfi to Catholics. Editorial, the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Act and Ghana's sovereignty. And that's about it for the front pages. We'll be back shortly.
No, we have food at home.
Sorry for left.
It's Woolies Israel.
Hey, you gonna explain, Taya?
Let's all join the ride to make our nation great and strong.
Welcome to Elboth West Labor, they say, but as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
For over 20 years of serving the world with herbal and alternative medicine, we've been successful in treating complicated medical conditions with a perfect combination of herbal and alternative methods of treatments like homeopathy, naturopathy, reflexology, and many more. We deliver excellent and effective service to people from all walks of life through scientific and traditional means. We have a well-equipped laboratory with advanced diagnostic and treatment devices to help detect your illness, so we know the right medication to be given. At Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital, we are proud manufacturers of our own herbal medication. Our zeal and passion to save lives with our patients at heart and outstanding achievements since 1996 has won us several awards. That is why we say, go herbal, go Amen. We are located everywhere in all the regions. Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital. Allahu Shafi, God is the He.
How far with your internship?
To be honest, I'm so nervous about starting this new role on Monday.
Oh, please. I know you'll be great at it. You should be worried about what benefits they have. Example, do they have health insurance?
I doubt they will have that for internet. But no shaking. I have NHIS already.
After you on a line, ting.
Ina, look at you. What are you going to do in the office when you can just download your app to register for an NHIS membership?
Yes, my people. You heard right. You can now download and register your membership on my NHIS app. No long queues or tedious paperwork. All you need is your Ghana card to register for yourself and for others. Once you register, you get a new digital NHIS card on your phone. My NHIS app gives you access to credentialed health facilities and services across the country. NHIS covers over 95% of disease conditions in Ghana. Access to healthcare just got easier.
Now let me sign up quickly. Please, Seth, I'm starting work next.
We are back, bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two, with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bet. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot.
You always get way more with Betway.
This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
The biggest car center in Ghana, offering unparalleled round-the-clock service in autos and accessories. Nadam Autofix is the biggest distributors of used tires in Ghana, offering first-grade second-hand car tires of all rim sizes at both wholesale and retail prices. We are also the leading name in car sensor diagnostics, corrections and sales of car accessories. We excel in car washing and detailing with state-of-the-art steam engine washing machines that keep water away from your engine, ensuring a clean, healthy and responsive engine. Nadom Autofix, the first name in servicing, car accessories and car washing. Visit us today and experience the world of class difference. Find us today at Asoridaho, directly opposite Dansoman KFC and the Shell filling station. For more details, you can call us on 0503 244 266 or 0535 339823. Nado Motofix, Wukwain Sunyonko Papa.
Let's all join the ride to make our nation great and strong.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. With me on the show this morning, I have the Honorable Member of Parliament for the Anyaso-Wutum constituency, Dr. Dixon Adumaku Kisi. Doc, good morning.
Morning.
Also with me on the show this morning is the Member of Parliament for the Norton constituency. He's also ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee in Parliament, the Honorable Samuel Kujatua Blakwa. Good morning, Samuel.
Hi, good morning, Doctor.
Right.
Good morning, my brother.
Interesting, we're on the same committee.
Okay. Oh, you're also on the Foreign Affairs Committee?
Since you said it.
Okay.
Yes.
Aren't you on the Health Committee too?
I was on Health, but
no
they put me
longer
at
Public
Foreign
Accounts.
Affairs and Public Account.
Okay.
So he's ranking there and I'm Vice Chairman there.
You're Vice Chair?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we work together.
You should have told me that my brother is now a big man.
Oh, he's a big man. He's a big man.
Well, you are Vice Chair.
Well, I mean, but I'm hoping to maybe go back to Health. I think
the passion.
Yeah, yeah, and other reasons.
Other reasons.
Other reasons.
Okay. Now that we are going to do a road show for the Commonwealth job, you don't want to be part of it. There's a big job coming.
Other reasons.
Anyway, well, it's not that exciting a day, but like I always say when I sign on, we're grateful to God for the rare privilege of being alive. And of course, the opportunity to have another conversation around the top stories making the rounds here in our dear Republic. There's a reason why I have that line in my intro every single morning. The things we take for granted and the things that we find very, very normal, extremely expensive, and extremely privileged. I mean, anytime you're able to open your eyes and you have breath and you can move your limbs, is the greatest thing you have to thank God for. Anyway, imagine getting rewarded for doing something you already do every single day. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, that's exactly what Momo Season is all about. There's something for everyone. Download the Momo app on Play Store or App Store and use Momo Pay for your day-to-day transactions to a merchant, either through the QR code or merchant ID, and stand a chance of winning 1,000 cedis weekly and other amazing prizes. It's also not left out of the reward and win. Keep using your Momo Pay on the Momo app and get rewarded. There are lots and lots of exciting prizes for everyone. So what are we doing today? Transact more with Momo Pay and more points and win big this Momo season. Visit momomerchantapplication.mtn.com.gh for your Momo for Business account today. It's Momo season, so just Momo it with Momo Pay. Terms and conditions apply. And are you desperate of getting a toothpaste that will take care of all the family and save money? The recommended family toothpaste is KEL 360 toothpaste, approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. KEL 360 toothpaste provides you and your family with all-round dental protection throughout the day with freshness. KEL 360 toothpaste is good for kids, children, and adults. Let your family be a proud family when they step out by constantly using KEL 360 toothpaste. KEL 360 toothpaste brightens your teeth, prevents cavity with its cool mint, gives you fresh breath throughout the day, and protects the gum from decaying. For consistency and quality, use KEL 360 toothpaste. KEL 360 toothpaste is another product from Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasso. It's available in all supermarkets, malls, and provision shops. Call Samara Company on 0246 864 798. KEL 360 toothpaste. Happy smile. And the pains of climbing the stairs when not exercising could be challenging for all ages, but worry no more. Lifts and elevators have got you covered with the best portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators on the market today. It's a simple self-supported elevator for both homes and offices, and guess what? You can lift your goods too. Wheelchairs can fit in, and they come in 3 custom-made models. It's affordable and can be installed within 3 days. Visit Lift and Elevators at Sakumono, or just call them on 0200535515, or send a mail to elevatorsgh@gmail.com for consultations and the best solutions in easy vertical movements. Amen Scientific and Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital is organizing a free health screening now, and it's open to the general public. This is a way of saying thank you to Ghanaians, and what can be more rewarding than this? The free screening includes fertility tests, prostate, stroke, diabetes, hypertension, fibroid, ulcers, hepatitis B, and many more. Note that the medical screening is free, but patients with disease conditions will pay a token for their medications. Visit Amen Scientific at Dominia, Snake Flats Down, or Clago near the Sherman Under Bridge, and all the other branches across the country. You can call Amen Scientific on 020-722-9505 or 0244-227192 to book your appointments. Amen Scientific, an alternative medical hospital. Allah Shafi, God is the healer. All right, so yesterday, an announcement was made in Parliament which led to the parliamentary session ending prematurely. Let's watch what happened in Parliament yesterday, and then we'll get back to the issue.
I know it's in order.
Honorable members, sitting is accordingly suspended. And all the professional mix from Ghana Health Service. We have a director. Some of the equipment we have here, you can't find in the hospitals. And it's here. Why don't you want to go to the medical center? Now, how do you spread this all over the regions? You can only do it through the regulation that you have this treatment there, submit the cost implication for refund, or you don't have money to do it, and therefore you submit to the administration here for processing. In fact, we have processed a number of requests even for treatment outside Ghana. And I only said this is not known. So we have to pass on the information as he, Honorable Muntaka, concluded. Let's pass on the information to members. I'm aware of a number of former members of parliament who could not go out to buy medicine because of poverty and they died. I'm aware of a number of former members of parliament who, because of cost implications, were sent back home from various hospital facilities, or I should say medical facilities, and they died. And so we kept on passing information, but the numbers are large. They will not be able to reach all of them, and that is why even members here are not aware. And as I'm sharing this information with you, members are in conversation, they are not listening. And at the end of the day, they will say they don't know. And that's why I started by saying, God help those who help themselves. Please, can we go on?
Mr. Speaker.
All right, so that was Ghana's parliament thrown into a state of confusion yesterday. Doc, what happened?
Where do I start from? First of all, let me say that it's a huge loss to a lot of us, more especially to his family. And I must start with that, you know, our condolences to the family. I haven't cried for some time, but yesterday, I must admit, I was in my office, cried a little. I'm lost for words. We least expected another loss within the majority caucus. There's no good time to really explain what and why and all that. But we got the news while I was in the chamber. And you know, strangely, yesterday we were doing tributes to other past members. So the issue of health, and let me say that Muntaka really focused on health of MPs. And I've always been of the opinion that who takes care of MPs? I mean, you know, every time people are on us, for good reasons, demanding for things, you know, health bills and all of those things. But who really takes care of an MP? When an MP is distraught, when an MP has issues of health. And I must say, I think we really, as a parliament, clearly need to come back and focus largely on the health of our members. Because as Muntaka went into the fact that others even can afford medications when they leave Parliament, I was deeply concerned. Only for us to hear a few hours into the discussion, because the discussion was still going on, the Speaker even was also making contributions as to things he has had to do in the past to support the initiative of helping the health and wellness of members of Parliament. Only for us, during all of this, to then hear that we've actually lost a member in the 8th Parliament. And in fact, some broke in tears in the chamber. We had to, you know, find a way of taking them out as to not make a scene in the chamber. But this is somebody who was a very decent man, and he's made an impact not just on members of parliament, but his constituents. And when I say his constituents, it's not a Jisu. He has a following across the country. And I will forever see him as one of the people who was non-judgmental about me, despite my shortfallings in politics. And I would say my shortfallings because of some of my stands in politics. And I will truly miss him. And for lack of words, I think I'll cheat and state what Dr. Amin has stated here, if you permit me.
Please.
I'm deeply saddened by the passing of my dear colleague, friend, and brother, Honorable Dr. John Ampontoa Kuma, whose death has left a profound void in the hearts of all of us who worked with him at the Ministry of Finance. Honorable Kuma exemplified unwavering dedication and commitment to the cause of fiscal responsibility, economic empowerment for the youth, entrepreneurship, and service. His passion for the youth and tireless efforts towards advancing the nation's economic development were evident to all who had the privilege of working alongside him. He was a valued and cherished colleague whose humility, selflessness, and kind and gentle nature left a deep impression and endeared him to all. On behalf of the Ministry of Finance, I extend my deepest condolences to Honorable Kuma's wife, children, extended family, friends, colleagues, and the people of Ejisu constituency. His legacy of selfless service and commitment to the people of Ejisu exemplify leadership at the Ministry of Finance and steadfast commitment to the economic development of our beloved nation. Will stand as an enduring memorial to his name. Rest well, my honorable brother. We will miss you. And may I add that he joined Dr. Amin to Kumasi not too long ago when they were concluding on the airport and then the maternity block at KUST. And if you look at how selfless he's been, his dedication to the party all through and through. In fact, if we talk of people who have devoted their lives to the party, I would consider him, in very simple terms, like a martyr for MPP. He's died a true patriot. And for me, there are very few noble men in MPP. I think John Kuma stands as one of the very few noble men. And I would say that he's a testimony of somebody who believed in God as a politician and stood true to faith and religion and principles that not all of us necessarily adhere to. He's been most friendly with all of us. I mean, and I think I don't remember hearing, even across the aisle, anybody having issues necessarily with John Kuma. And I'm deeply distraught by his loss. And we've lost a gem, a potential youthful guy who would have really taken Ghana high and high and high. And as for us who communicate for the party, John was an exemplary guy. I mean, when it came to, I think when he went to finance ministry, I felt that finance ministry now finally had a voice, somebody who could bring finance to the ordinary person on the street instead of all the, big English. John could break it down, his contribution on e-levy, his contribution on all the mini governmental taxes. And I must say, there were times when I even didn't agree to certain things, but he would try and explain to me why these things were necessary, like the e-levy. I feel not just the pain, but the suffering. And I can look at the people who were crying yesterday at his house. And I know that they are crying largely because he really was lifting many people out of their pain and misery, only for him, such a good man, such a loving brother, a father, a husband, a son, and more importantly, a powerful public servant. And I'll deeply miss him. Deeply, deeply miss him. Jimmy Fred, and wherever he is today, may the good Lord keep him safe.
Right. So, Honorable Hujato Blakwa, you have a relationship that dates back to student politics.
Yes.
And I'm sure you were also in the house yesterday.
Yes. It's really been a difficult 24 hours since this news broke. It's taken a toll on all of us. We are all in utter disbelief. I woke up this morning hoping that the news will emerge as some fake news, one of those, expensive jokes. But it appears that this is real, and we have to brace ourselves for this shocking demise of the Honorable John Kuma. You are right, I have known him since our teenage years. I was trustee of the Greater Accra Students Representative Council, and he led the Ashanti Regional Students Representative Council. He was in Opoku-Ware, I was in Presec, and we formed the regional SRCs that served as a fulcrum for a national SRC. He was a very passionate young activist. He didn't end at the secondary school level. He continued to the University of Ghana as one of those impactful student activists. I recall he ran for SRC president. He missed out narrowly, and then continued to run for the president of the National Union of Ghana Students. Interestingly, that year they had very remarkable candidates. So he was on the bill. Then you had the Honorable Dr. Edward Kofi Omane-Boama, who won the contest. Then you had Comrade Bernard Mona, who was also in that contest. So it was quite a fine breed of student activists. And despite our ideological differences, there was deep respect for each other and for these activists who really championed the cause of students, the cause of the youth, who thought that students should have a seat at the table, should have a voice, and should be well represented at all levels of the university governance and within the larger national governance architecture of our country. I must also add that he continued into national politics. He joined us in Parliament, and in Parliament, even though we belong to different sides of the aisle, he was a worthy opponent who debated forcefully. He was not one of those MPs who was shy of airing his views. He made his points quite eloquently and forcefully, and he was one of those new entrants who made an impact. So he didn't have to be in the house for a very long time for you to remember that the good people of Ejiso have sent a very formidable representative. I mean, within a short period of time, he made his mark in the chambers. As one of those really active members of Parliament, he will participate in the budget debate. He will participate in the debate on the message of the State of the Nation. And generally, when there are statements, he appeared largely interested in matters to do with youth development, youth entrepreneurship, matters to do with skills empowerment, and seeing how more fiscal space could be created to fund a lot of these job creation initiatives. That appear to be his passion. So he really has made a mark, and it is difficult to accept that at his prime, just when you thought that, the whole world was really ahead of him to conquer, and that he will leave in the footprints of time a certain golden legacy when all is said and done, and he has completed his mission, which was quite a really fast-paced political career, a very successful one at that. It's really a void that he has left. I want to extend deepest condolences to his wife and children. I have met his wife, who is a respected clergy woman, who will always seize every moment to preach the gospel, to evangelize. She comes across as a very passionate servant of the Almighty, and I really wonder how she's taking it. I mean, to lose your husband and your life partner in his prime.
You have 6 children together.
Yes, yeah.
6.
Yes, 6 children, and it's. I mean, widowhood is nothing you wish for, even the worst enemy. So we extend deepest commiserations to her, to the children, to the larger family. I also want to extend our condolences to the Ejisu constituency. I note that he was really loved. In the last primaries, he went unopposed. Nobody challenged him. Nobody thought that they could muster the courage to unseat him. So they just allowed him to go uncontested, which really is testament of how well he served the people. And I'm not surprised that the whole constituency has been thrown into a state of grief, a state of anguish, a state of mourning. I also want to extend deeper sympathies to the New Patriotic Party, the government he served in, and of course to our institution, the institution of Parliament. You saw how devastated the Right Honourable Speaker was yesterday, and all of us yesterday could not believe the news, and that's why we couldn't continue with the work of the day, because we were not in the right frame of mind. We were totally distraught, and there was no way we could have continued with the business of the House. So condolences to all Ghanaians, the folks at the Ministry of Finance. I share in their pain and in their loss. I'm told yesterday that it was really difficult for our sister, the Honourable Abnao Sayasari, to even leave the precincts of Parliament. She couldn't even walk. So it's been really difficult. I've been receiving calls from student activists across the country, all those we worked with. Comrade Donaire Kosina called me. He was also in the regional SRC, and he's a reverend minister now. He couldn't believe the news. Frank Udro has called. Many student activists are in total disbelief at what has happened. But as people of faith, as Christians, we all know that it is God who gives and it is God who takes. We all do not know how much time He has assigned to us on earth. We know that this journey is just a pilgrimage. We are only sojourning. It's a really fleeting and transient moment, and nobody knows when your time will be up. It's really about seizing the moment and making the best. It's not really how long you live, but it is the impact you make, even if it is 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. It's really about the impact you made. And we know of many greats, including Jesus the Christ himself, who didn't spend too much time with us on earth, but remains the most impactful and iconic person to have walked the surface of this earth. So we can only ask that his loved ones, family and children will be comforted by the fact that he left an enduring legacy. In this short span of time, he has served his country with diligence. He served his party, and you've seen the statement from the party, all flags are flying at half-mast within his party. It's not every party activist who will receive that honor and that befitting respect to your memory. It shows that his contributions are well recognized. So I will plead, I know it's very difficult, but I'll plead with everybody grieving to at least take solace in the fact that he made quite a mark. We are all not perfect. As human beings, we will all have our shortcomings. But when all is said and done, overall, in the balance, what was the impact and how positively did you influence others and impact on the lives of others? And if you listen to the testimonies, all of those who have spoken about the Ejiso MP, they talk about his very warm relationship with them, how respectful he was, how kind he was, how generous he was, and that he always made time for them. And really, if you think about it, Doc, to be in a state of unwellness and yet wanting to be with your constituents, everybody, his family, his doctors, everybody has said that he wasn't well for some time, and yet he did not abdicate. He didn't abandon his constituents. We are told that he wanted to take the salute at the 6 March parade in his constituency. He could have said that, well, you know, not too well, let me forget about my constituent for some time, which will have been understood. But he made it a point to go there and to be with his constituents. It's a certain reflection of how well he took his job.
Was that not also too risky?
Yes, I mean, you can say that. You can say that it was risky, but you see,
not easy.
It's not easy. It's not
easy. If he didn't show up, you know how the grassroots will talk. Plenty things.
Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, but you see, talking about that and his dedication to work, it also brings to the fore the need for us to improve health delivery across the length and breadth of this country, so that wherever you are serving this country, wherever you stay as a Ghanaian, regardless of your status, regardless of your role, you can have a fair shot at having quality health care. So we need to make sure that, you know, developments like this remind us. And I think that that would be a lasting, you know, legacy to his memory. Let us rededicate all efforts at investing in quality health care across the length and breadth of our country. I mean, I keep saying, anytime people say, oh, you seem to be doing a lot in your, particularly the Bato Catholic Hospital, I tell them that, you know, half of the time I'm here. You may think I'm doing it for others, for my constituents, for those who visit from neighboring constituencies and even outside Ghana. But what if you are also in an emergency situation? You're always on the move. You can even have an accident. And that's all you will have in terms of, you know, first aid and immediate response, primary care. So you are not doing it for others. You should think about it more deeply, that you are also doing it for yourself and your loved ones and all those who you care about. So even in this moment of grief and sorrow, there are important lessons to be learned. His dedication is really remarkable. That regardless of his, you know, his health status, he continued to work even at the Ministry of Finance. He was very supportive of the new Minister of State who was elevated. to replace the Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta. So let's learn the useful lessons. Let's make all the right investments in local health delivery, because you may not always be fortunate to get out of the jurisdiction. But we will all be at the various commemorations. We will be there to wish the family well, to condole with them, and to extend our sympathy. So our thoughts and prayers remain with the family. May the good Lord grant him a peaceful repose.
Now, Doug, let me come back quickly to you, and I'm sure that you're all aware about the speculations, the allegations, the claims being made by journalists, family members, political associates, people who work with him or for him, and all pointing to a direction of he having been poisoned, and also a revelation that he has had a certain medical condition since late October 2023, and that in fact he had been undergoing treatment outside the shores of this country. And initially when I heard from media persons, my instinct was that, well, some of these things, let it pass, you know. And then, of course, we had our people, the Osofos also weighed in, confirmation of prophecy and all that. But then when you now had family members, you now had political associates, some of whom are very educated, you know, saying the same thing. You had aides, you had others, all pointing to a particular thing. Then it becomes a cause for concern. It becomes something that obviously ought to be interrogated. And unfortunately, when you are in the public space, unfortunately, when you are a public personality, the issue of privacy of some of these things become a bit difficult. I don't know what you know and what you think about this from the perspective of both a physician and a politician.
You know, I saw him on Tuesday in Parliament. Quite frankly, he didn't look well. Highly likely, I think autopsy would reveal that he had multiple organ failure. And what I mean by that is that the lungs gave away, the heart gave away, the kidneys gave away. But as to what may have triggered or caused that, I mean, that's another question. And you know, even if it was poisoning, looking at October to date, some of the traces of it might be difficult to identify unless they go into the gut and actually do some further toxicology work. And that is if he ingested it. That's another thing. Was it inhalation or ingestion? And either way, I mean, our man is gone. And as they say, water...
But are you aware of this condition having been with him for a while? Or it's something you just got to know?
If anything, what I had heard at some point was, you know, conditions of blood pressure management and issues like that. Okay. But beyond him having kidney issues and all of these things, which were, you know, luring into the domain of, as I said, multiple organ failure, you know, that is where the big question is. And I think we'll leave that for autopsy. But either way, I mean, he's had a few brushes with death, by what I understand, you know, in the past 2 months, in terms of, you know, having near-death episodes.
With his health?
Yeah. Okay. And you know, is either way, I mean, you know, for me, the guy's gone. And for the record, so Ghana will do the right thing. Autopsy is what I think, will be the final thing, and especially because of his position. It's very critical and very important that the state makes sure that we bring to finality this quote-unquote word on the news, on the street, that it was poisoned. But all of us as politicians are careful. We need to be extra cautious. And that one, I think some may even appreciate why politicians don't like to eat at programs. And these may be some of the reasons, because now we'll all be very mindful, more cautious. So I'll plead with people, when we come to your program, sometimes we are a bit reluctant, not because the food isn't good, but we need to be very cautious. And I think that, is one of the inevitables of our life. We go for programs, and culturally, Ghanaians, when you visit them and they offer you something, you must
until COVID struck, it was seen as bourgeois and offensive if you use the sanitizer after you've greeted people.
Yeah.
You were seen as somebody who people were offended by the fact that they would even see you applying hand sanitizer after you've greeted people until COVID struck.
And when you carry your own water, wahala. So it is a problem. And whether true or untrue, I think this will register in people's minds. And Warren Buffett always says this. He says that even if they tell him that it is a lane for only pedestrians, he's still going to be cautious. You never know where a car will hit you. So whether true or not true, I think that we all need to be cautious and mindful of the fact that there are evil people in and out of politics. And this is for all career people. I mean, even within the media arena, I'm sure some deaths have been also attributed to poisoning. And let me also add this. There's something that the youth do these days. They'll go to a program and make something for a friend without knowing how the friend reacts to it. That is also very critical. I've had instances of, a young guy goes to party, a friend might jinx the drink with something. Now, even granite kills some people who have allergies to granite. You understand? A very good doctor of mine died in Chicago when his friend, they eat jam and peanut butter, or let me say granite paste. And he knew that the doctor had allergies to granite paste. So he wiped the thing off the blade of the knife. But even that still ended the life of the doctor. So I'll use this opportunity to beg the youth not to spike people's drinks with all kinds of things. These days, Indian hemp and all kinds of things. You never know how that person reacts. Okujato might react okay to whatever you mix, I may not, or the reverse. And these are things we need to look out for very carefully in this country. Many people have died as a result of mixes that did not augur well with their body. So as it stands, this rumor, one, I won't give it credence, but it is also possible that that may have contributed to his demise. And of course, like COVID, if you had pre-existing comorbidities, then any exposure to anything will send you off. An asthma person's response to, drugs or other things will be different from somebody without asthma. And then somebody with diabetes or a known heart problem may respond differently. You know what happened in COVID? Those who were ill died, they succumbed more to COVID than the rest of us. So either way, I think that, in totality, he had a cardiac arrest, but invariably, this was multiple organ failure, and it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, and I don't wish this on any of us.
So I'm sure you've also read some of those things.
Yes, I am seeing a lot in the media space, particularly on social media. But I think that it is important to remind all of us that in difficult times like this, families, loved ones, they cherish privacy. They would want to mourn and grieve in silence. Let's always think about how the wife, the children, his parents, uncles, family members generally, and loved ones, how they will feel when they see some of these reportage and all of these writings and claims and counterclaims and all of that. It is not healthy. And I think that it's some of the hazards we face as public officials, where everything about you, including your death, is subjected to so much public scrutiny that even people forget sometimes when you have passed that it is only out of dignity and respect for the memory of the person and for the loved ones alive that these things are deferred and handled in a better way. I do not think that a lot of the claims and counterclaims and attacks and conspiracy theories, call them what you may, are helpful at this point. We may suggest, and this is entirely up to the family to take it or leave it, that some kind of an inquest will help. It will be good to see a coroner's report on the part of the family, and if they so decide, if they want to make it public, it's their choice. Ultimately, it should be about what gives the family closure, what helps them. If anybody suspects anything sinister, I don't think that social media is a place. You can't quietly go to the security agencies if you have evidence and if you want to help in probably apprehending those who you think are responsible. But just going out there, particularly at this time, when it has just happened, news has just been reported, you are not even sure whether everybody who matters to him has been formally informed and all of that. So it's come with this culture of social media where everything is put out there, often without thinking about the sensibilities of family members and all of that. It's not the best.
Yesterday,
it's not the best.
I was pleading with the marshals to stop the media guys upstairs. To cut it.
Yes.
That's not everything that happens in the chamber that should be aired.
People have broken down, people are weeping, they are wailing, then you are capturing it.
We need to
and broadcasting it live,
and you have to help us.
We must know when to respect people's privacy, and just leave people alone. Give them a moment of silence. It's important.
And this is something that maybe we need to bring you to talk to our media guys in Parliament. I think that not everything that happens. And let me cite, for instance, when there are on-cuff moments, between two members, sometimes you have to, cut it. And I'll plead today on your show that I'll plead with all of us. And let me add, and this goes to all parties. Mahama may be sleeping and then we capture. Nonado may be sleeping, then we capture. I really think that, these things ought to be looked at from both sides because it's not necessarily helpful. And if you see me slapping Okujato or him slapping me, Please don't capture it.
Except that for those, we are not supposed to do certain things.
We won't.
You understand?
I'm just saying. Sometimes,
people expect
we need to be
a certain conduct. But I think that we really have to emphasize the need to give families, some privacy, some space, some moment, of quiet,
grief,
so that they can mourn. Those who feel strongly that they have any evidence. And that there are some bad guys out there, out to kill people who must be dealt with according to law. You know what to do. Quietly go to the security agencies, report, and let them do their investigations. But at the end of the day, I really, think that a lot of these conspiracy theories and how, they are spun and circulated all over the place, it demeans the dignity of all of us, and we need to watch it.
All right, okay. So we'll take a break. We'll be back shortly.
Let's all join the ride to make our nation great and strong.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ambedu. Good afternoon, Mr. Sam. How is business doing? My business is collapsing. Why is your business collapsing? I sold my products and services to my clients on credit, and my debtors are not paying their debts. Have you heard of Rosic Consult Limited, a debt recovery company operating in all the 16 regions of Ghana? Not at all. Mr. Ampedu, all you need to do is to contact them on their customer service line. I recommend Rosic Consult Limited, a debt recovery company to financial institutions, businessmen and businesswomen, other companies, and also individuals. Rosic Consult has 98.4% debt recovery rate. We have professional debt recovery managers. You are assured of swift debt recovery. No recovery, no commission. For Rosic Consult Limited, no more write-offs. And we pre-finance the recovery ourselves.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh bread.
I'm a fat missy way.
The patch of bantama.
Machasi.
That's a cycle.
Her smile,
the fresh breath.
Me, Jidi said we use Cal 360 toothpaste.
Same kind.
Cal 360 toothpaste.
That's here. Cal 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector.
Onim jom kasan. Ile hosen. Cal 360 better way. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
You will see so feeling to when you know Cal 360 toothpaste.
Happy.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. But as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
We are back, bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two, with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bet. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot.
You always get way more with Betway.
This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
Customer.
Nadabena minka me trapa papa. Me try 10 Ghana.
10 Ghana.
10 Ghana cedis.
Na no dia, say na obenya.
10 Ghana cedis no. Me dia. 54,000 Ghana cedis.
54,000.
540 million.
Yeah, the one na me try me di e skasa.
Yeah. And then I giga ade tina we. Tina wa boki. Draw no na asase no e. Mami nye volume no.
Customer. One of our daily lucky winners. Dial *946# to play now. Or you can also play online at www.gamepackgames.com. Game Park is regulated by the National Lottery Authority.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. Still with me on the show, I have Dr. Dominic Admakukisi, Dr. Dixon, Admakukisi, and the Honorable Samuel Kujatu Ablakwa. Now, what does wealth mean to you? Do you want to live like a tycoon? Remember, I was God the Mola, God the Power. Ghana's newest lottery game draws live on Adom TV at 9 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m. daily. Now pick up your phones, tablets, and computers and download the Game Park Games app on Play Store. You can also play on the website at www.gameparkgames.com or by dialing *946# on all networks. Just choose 4 numbers from 0 to 9. It's easy to play and easy to win. Shall I make we play this game and make some mola? Nobody beats our odds in Ghana. Game Park Games, more mola, more power. This game is regulated by a National Lottery Authority, not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. Ayesoko, that could somebody be big, but Betway's cash out be bigger. Betway is giving you more control of every thrilling bet you place. Enjoy the biggest and most reliable cash out in Ghana on Betway without any hassle. Sign up today at betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. This is not for persons under 18 and is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more. And Blue Jeans energy drink has been on the Ghanaian market for over 20 years. We already know what it does for the body. It contains vitamins and nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, as well as taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans energy drink has been tested and tried. It is indeed the best. Blue Jeans energy drink is for bold and active men and women. So go on, grab a cold can and power your day. It's in shops nationwide. For bulk purchases, contact Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 0208128190 or 055-001-0000. Now let me speak to you about the Future Ready Leadership Summit. Now the future is here, but the big question is, where is the leadership? The maiden edition of the Future Ready Leadership Summit, dubbed Reimagining Leadership in a World of Unrelenting Change, with very inspiring speakers such as Sam Jonah, Dr. George Ajekum Donko, Professor Kweku Etuahenijima, and many distinguished speakers, is coming off on the 13th of March 2024 at the Movenpick Ambassador Hotel, and it will start at 8 a.m. Now, for tickets to these events, kindly contact 0267 349 or 0244 202 949. And like I said, the future is here. But the big question is, where is the leadership? And this morning I'll be speaking to Professor Kwekwe Tuahini-Jima and about this particular Future Ready Leadership Summit. That will be at 10 a.m. This morning. And you don't want to miss this particular conversation. All right. So, gentlemen, today is International Women's Day, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Let's watch this.
Yeah, hello. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you so much. We'll talk later. Thank you. Yeah, hello. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you so much. We'll talk later. Thank you. Yeah, hello. Oh, thank you.
All right, so it reads, today I received the news of my confirmed selection as a running mate to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, flag bearer and leader of the National Democratic Congress and incoming President of the Republic of Ghana, with profound humility and great honor. It is worthy of note that this is the second time former President John Mahama has nominated me as his running mate. I express my eternal gratitude to him. By this choice, our flag bearer has demonstrated remarkable consistency, an unwavering commitment to inclusivity and innovation, and an inspirational belief in a Ghanaian woman. I wish to convey my heartfelt appreciation to the NDC Council of Elders, the National Executive Committee, the rank and file of our party, friends, well-wishers, and indeed all Ghanaians for the overwhelming support and endorsement. I'm not one to take lightly the confidence reposed in me. Neither am I oblivious of the national decay and widespread despondency in our beloved country. I express my absolute readiness and commitment to partner His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to serve the people of Ghana with integrity, dignity, truthfulness, hard work, and patriotism to reposition our dear country as a beacon of hope and opportunity. I have no doubt in my mind that we can count on His Excellency John Mahama to give us that selfless, incorruptible, visionary and inclusive leadership that Ghana urgently needs to transform the fortunes of Ghanaians. I shall give this noble task everything in me. Ghanaians are looking up to the NDC, and I firmly believe in our unflinching resolve and sacred pledge to work hard to build the Ghana we want together. Let us make history. Professor Jane Nano Opoku-Agyeman, NDC running mate. Sammy?
Yeah, Doc, a very significant development within my party, the National Democratic Congress. Our flag bearer, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the incoming President of the Republic of Ghana, yesterday submitted to the Council of Elders and the National Executive Committee of the party his choice for running mate in the 2024 presidential election. From what we all now know, there was an overwhelming endorsement of his choice. That choice being my former boss and mother, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. The second time His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has chosen her. This is obviously a fantastic choice, as has been widely described. It shows a certain consistency on the part of former President Mahama in reposing confidence in Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. By this choice, the former president is affirming his belief in women, his belief in inclusivity, his belief in innovation.
Affirmative action.
This, absolutely. This is the first time a major political party in our country has chosen a woman as a vice presidential candidate. And it is the first time that choice has been repeated. The former president could have changed his mind and gone for someone else, and that would have meant that he probably doesn't have firm belief and conviction in inclusivity, in what women bring to the table. In this instance, the former president has demonstrated that when he says that he believes in inclusivity, when he says that he believes that everybody who has talent, who has love for country, who has integrity, who has compassion, vision, should be given a fair opportunity. The former president has demonstrated that. Now, if you look at what Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman brings to the table, or brings to the ticket, her high points are qualities many Ghanaians are looking for. Many Ghanaians are looking for leaders who have integrity. Check the career of Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. Throughout, from being a lecturer all the way to becoming the first female vice chancellor of a public university, all the way to becoming Minister of Education. Not once was she embroiled in any scandal. Not once. She left all of those high offices squeaky clean with impeccable credibility. Nobody could point any accusing finger that she has conducted herself in manners that financial loss has been occasioned. So, if you look at the qualities that Ghanaians are looking for in their leader, she has all of it. Integrity, she has love for country, she is patriotic, she is dedicated, she has grace, she believes in young people, she's nurtured thousands of young people all her life, dedicated all her life towards improving the lot of young people. Then she has dynamism. She is self-effacing, she is a quiet but efficient deliverer. She gets the job done. When she abolished the shift system, she didn't do a lot of noise and song and dance. But today, in all our public basic schools, she was able, working with former President Mahama, to construct over 1,600 basic schools needed to abolish the shift system. So now, there's no part of our country at the pre-SHS level where people have to share limited infrastructure, go to school in the morning, and then you leave to create space for others to come in the afternoon, as used to be the case. Under her watch, she upgraded all the colleges of education, made sure that they were moved from glorified secondary schools as teacher training institutions to become full-fledged colleges of education. Led the process, made sure that the new Colleges of Education Act 2012 was operationalized. She made sure that all graduate teachers were automatically posted without licensure exams and without national service. Then you look at her accomplishments as a Minister of Education. Even at the international level, 2 times she was invited to serve on the UNESCO board because they were so impressed with her output at the international level. As we speak, she is the Chancellor of the Women's University in Zimbabwe. She heads the Federation of African Women Educationists, which is headquartered in Kenya. So, across the world. She has that global respect. She has that international gravitas, which you cannot take away from her. Then you look at other achievements as education minister. During her tenure, for 4 consecutive years, Ghana was adjudged the best WASI performing nation. The records are there, they speak for themselves. Then she also ensured that by the time she was becoming Minister of Education, we had a big challenge in this country with teacher absenteeism. Due to her interventions, her leadership approach, surprise visits, hands-on, being on the ground, across the length and breadth of this country, teacher absenteeism dropped from 27% to 7%. That and other interventions made sure that we had the best BEC performance in the history of our country. And the records speak for themselves. If you look at what she did at the tertiary level, helping President Mahama to complete and inaugurate the University of Health and Allied Sciences, to secure funding, negotiate funding for the University of Environment and Sustainable Development. The former was in the Volta region, the latter in the Eastern region. She even made sure that funding was arranged for the second campus. You see what she did with establishing centers of excellence at the University of Ghana and at the KNUST. Many people do not know that during COVID, one of those centers of excellence came in strategically to assist us. The West Africa Center for cell biology and infectious pathogens at the University of Ghana. She negotiated the funding from the World Bank, and that Center of Excellence was established. And with the help of Noguchi and KCCR, they did help us to manage COVID. So her legacy has really been far-reaching. I remember that when she took over and she saw the EMIS data revealing that 4 children will have to share 1 textbook. She said, how can you achieve quality education with this? Made sure she quickly intervened. By the time she was leaving the ministry, it became the other way around, where every people had all the textbooks. In addition to that, they were given dictionaries. She supplied over 500 vehicles. She thought that it was really essential to ensure that there were school buses, pickups, and other vehicles, salon vehicles in our schools, particularly for award winners, best performing teachers. Over 500 distributed across all levels of the educational strata. Then you also consider her leadership style. She is one who is very embracing, very warm, very modest. She does not, if you like, raise herself because she's a professor. She doesn't walk with airs. She does not think that she should construct an ivory tower around her because she rose to be vice chancellor. Not at all. I mean, how she manages to straddle from the high echelons of academia to really let ordinary folks, whether they are market women or traders or, young people, feel, that she's one of them. She represents their interests. It's really, really incredible. So I can talk about Prof. on and on and on. I am really, really impressed with this decision. And it's not because I am biased, because I've worked with her and I have come to deeply respect her. But really, who else? Who else should? I mean, there are some people you get close to and work with, and you may not be as impressed as I am. So I think that it is only fair for those of us who have had the privilege to work with her and have been impressed, to be given the opportunity to really speak to this outstanding woman, this extraordinary statesman who has served our country, served the international community with distinction. I mean, under her watch, the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, which she is a fellow, had a new complex constructed and inaugurated. She made sure that the West Africa Examination Council had the headquarters, constructed under her watch. Under her watch, we have seen the e-blocks. Indeed, if her vision for secondary expansion had been implemented, Doc, we would not have had double track. Because for somebody who abolishes the shift system at the basic school level, I mean, it will have been an anathema, an aberration for her to allow double track at the senior high school level. So if her e-block concept, which really was a vision of President Mahama, which she executed with distinction, if she started 124, the plan was to do 200. If that had been continued, we would not have had the congestion that we are all complaining about, the crisis with, secondary school infrastructure, which everybody now admits, including the president, finally coming to terms with it and saying that we need to have a discussion on how to improve the free SHS program. She also, as you recall, in fulfillment of Article 25(1)(c) of our Constitution, launched the Progressively Free SHS program, which had about 380,000 beneficiaries, those who really are needy. There was a needs assessment looking at the Ghana Living Standards Survey and then our LEAP data. All of that was used to identify vulnerable students who really need the support. And that is how come all of these 380,000 students received free education under her watch. And her free education program, which targeted the needy, did not only come with taking care of tuition, taking care of fees at all levels. It came with stipends. It came with bicycles for day students. It came with school bags, school shoes. You remember that she was big on having the free shoe program. Over 40,000 people benefited. It also came with the free sanitary pads initiative, which research upon research confirms that it affects outcomes, because at that time of the month, many female students stay at home, and it affects their performance. She was big on that, even though she was criticized for that initiative. She was unwavering, and all of those interventions helped that by the time she was leaving the ministry, we had achieved gender parity at the basic education level all the way to JHS, where previously you would see that by the time a cohort is approaching JHS, the boys have overtaken the girls, even though if you look at our population dynamics, we have more female than male. She achieved gender parity if you pay regard to the MS data. So this is somebody who, across the board, from KG, if you look at the number, hundreds of KG she constructed, she negotiated some good funding from the USAID, and she mainstreamed KGs to be attached to the basic schools, then continued all the way to her JHS interventions. Only last week we were discussing the number of communities in our country without junior high schools, and it's leading to a high dropout rate at that level. She made sure that she established over 1,500 junior high schools. If you look at the MS data, all of these numbers I'm putting out, the MS data confirms them, and educationists who are watching know about these things. And her belief for access and equity, creating opportunity for all, is what also informed her to roll out the free uniforms program. I've talked about free sandals. But also what was very significant in that space she did was the private BEC. And last week, I talked at length about the impact that policy made. So under her, more than 3,000 people who will have otherwise not had the opportunity to further their education, to to continue to the next level. Because the BEC became a one-off for many years. If you don't write the BEC, that's it. You are doomed. You are cut off. She said, look, it's not acceptable. Even at senior levels, you can have a second chance. You can have another chance to resit or to retake your papers. Why not at that vulnerable lower level? And she spoke with WAEC, and that was a very instrumental policy which helped to bridge gaps, which helped to attain equity. So I can go on and on about the achievements of Professor Nana, but I'll end with what she contributes politically. If you look at what was achieved in 2020, I don't think she has been given credit at all. Look, this is the first time in the history of our country where going into a second round, the ruling party does not increase their parliamentary majority, but they have a hung parliament. This never happened. This is the first time. So what the John and Jane ticket achieved in 2020, and I think that a lot of analysts are not really looking at the numbers. I mean, after her selection, we moved from 4 seats in the central region to 13 seats. You cannot downplay that. You can't discount that. In just one round of elections, 4 to 13. It's unprecedented. Really remarkable. Then to have, look, 2004, by the time Kufuor was going into his second term.
I have a different opinion on that. I'll go into
yeah. By the time President Kufuor was going into his second term, you notice that he widened the parliamentary majority. By the time President Mahama was taking over from Mills in 2012, going into a second term, the NDC increased their parliamentary majority. This is the only time that the parliamentary majority has shrunk, and the ruling party has to now grapple with the same numbers, 137, 137. This never happened. Then they halved the presidential margin, the John and Jane ticket. Really remarkable. They halved it. About 500,000 votes gap closed. I mean, you cannot downplay this. So beyond all her stellar qualities, you know, the fact that absolute integrity, during her time, she never printed past questions for 68 million. She would never have done that. I recall what she did was to ask CENDLOS, the Center for National Distance Learning and Open Schooling, to just upload the past questions so everybody could download them for free.
That?
Yes, we had that. It was just uploaded. CENDLOS, talk to Mr. Mallet. Free. She didn't make noise. We didn't do any. Free. It didn't cost us anything. You just ask WAEC.
There's always a cost.
No, it didn't cost us anything. It was just uploaded. CENDLOS. I remember Mr. Mallet.
There's always a cost.
CENDLOS. That is why we have, many people don't know, we have an agency at the Ministry of Education, and this is their job, to do distance learning and to put things online. CENDLOS.
Just hold on a minute. I was checking this, in the week. Was it late last week or early this week?
Yeah.
This past questions thing was a big issue in Parliament.
Yeah.
So I was just looking at the stats, and they're saying that in 2020, we printed 568,755 past questions at a cost of 33.613 million, which puts a unit cost at 59 cedis 10 pesos.
Yeah.
One photocopy was 59 cedis 10 pesos. And then in 2021, 446,954. 446,954 past questions. And that cost us 34,862,412. So in 2021, although we printed about 120,000 less, we spent about 1 million Ghana cedis more. And so the unit cost for that was about 78 cedis for one photocopy.
Yeah. And you have to add that it was all single source.
Yes.
Single source. I mean, incredible. Meanwhile, I'm concluding, so you have your turn.
So that's what.
We have. Yes.
See,
we have. Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, if you
is the data
it is correct. It's correct. Yes, I have the answers here. It's correct. That's what the Minister of Education told us
but
in response.
Procurement isn't that straightforward. But you finished.
Photocopy.
What I'm saying is that procurement isn't that straightforward.
Look, these past questions. At a time you say you have a digitalization champion, you can't just put this online. We were doing that at the Ministry of Education. Professor Nana
maybe for those who don't have access to online platforms, maybe the cost of data and all that.
It is needless expenditure. Look, if you have a situation where children can get quality food, children are sitting on bare floor. Sometimes they have to carry stones to go and sit on them. We see them, cement blocks.
But how much is
68.4 million? When you can just
how much is a
it.
3-unit classroom block?
You know,
that's about 600,000.
About
3 units, not 6 units. 3 units.
Because 6 units is about 1.2.
So 600,000.
Yeah.
Do you know why I asked the question?
Yeah.
It has to do with the Africa EduWatch
paper
findings, which suggests that a large number of the people are not able to transition.
Yes.
It's because many of the schools in the 5 northern regions plus
OT.
Primary schools don't have
JHS.
So 1, 2, 3, the 3 blocks. They don't have it.
They don't have it.
That is why.
Yes. So imagine what 68 million can do. Fortunately, fortunately, I heard the PRO say that they have stopped, and that
they
stopped the printing. They've since stopped, and they are moving everything online. That's how it's always been.
But it was online.
Yes.
So why
you should never have printed. You should never.
No, please write this question.
You should never. You write them down. You should never.
No, why
you should never have done this.
Why would you want to do a photocopy for this?
68.4 million. Professor Nana's time, it was online. Sendlos put it online.
How much does it cost to print
questions online? Yeah.
So
I'm concluding. Okay. You know that we haven't even talked about the mathematical set scandal. That's a separate one, which has not even been delivered as we speak. So the point I'm making is that under Professor Nana Jenupokwaja as Minister of Education, we didn't hear some of these scandalous, outrageous, outlandish things we are hearing today. We never heard them, and we took it for granted. So on International Women's Day, I want to salute all women. Women like Professor Nana Jenupokwaja, and I like the solidarity that they are showing. Since her appointment, I have seen that the respected Angela Jomna has issued a statement congratulating her and on behalf of the female CSOs. I've seen another statement from the network of African female CSOs by Alima and co, Haji Alima and co. And I am really touched by that. I've also been told that Professor Ofeya Boaji has also called to extend her congratulations. So I like the way, towering feminist activists and women role models are responding to President Mohammed's choice. and it tells me that the women who are in the majority are excited and they are going to rally behind Professor Nana to deliver the change that Ghanaians are looking for.
Look.
All right. So first of all, let me admit, I'm sure my mother is watching me. Benedicta, you see, she's yes. I'm sure she's watching. So when it comes to women issues...
So you have to be of good behavior.
I have to be of good behavior. and likewise, the First Lady, Mama Becky, is watching. So Women's Day, very important. As the saying goes, behind every successful man is a beautiful woman. Have I changed it?
It's beside.
It's
beside, not behind.
I love this rendition.
I said beautiful woman.
I love this rendition.
So I must, say respectfully that women are very important in everything, in all things, and I've always kept with me the story of Adam and Eve, and the fact that women were able at the very beginning to influence men to do all kinds of things, including eating an apple. So women certainly politically are important. as the saying goes, even in churches, if you want your church to stand, your fellowship, your women's fellowship needs to grow for your church to stand. And invariably, women have been instrumental in history, the likes of Naomi, Ruth story, the likes of Esther in the Bible, the likes of Mary Magdalene. Many women have influenced our lives and history. And let me say that democracy is maturing to the extent that even in the Americas, where 400 years ago it was unheard of for a woman to even vote, but then now they have Kamala Harris as their, vice president. Granted, she stands very tall. She was a senator before, unlike Jane, who has not ever really been a member of parliament, in like manner. But let me say that kudos to the NDC for making a selection, and as it is, repeating a team that we have had a match with before, and as it stands, the entire team of the NDC, which is the presidential candidate Mahama and his now repeat vice presidential nominee, or shall I say presidential candidate, is a team that the MPP is much aware of in terms of their strengths, their weaknesses, and the average Ghanaian also knows that we've tasted and enjoyed Mahama, and we know what he's made of. And as it stands now, there's nothing new to the table. Granted, there's one key thing that I need to remind my dear brother. I think that the coastal parts of this country, we struggled maybe because of some of the sea defense things we did. And outside the likes of, relocating people at the coastal side to bring about these development. And I think that may have cost us a lot in the central region. So I wouldn't necessarily put it out that Jane was the reason for the loss of seats. And then I must also admit that some of the things we did on the Galamsey bit also impacted us in terms of the central western region. So just to bring to bear the fact that it was not necessarily Opoku Ajiman effect that really cost the MPP along those lines. Even now, as we said here, I think, unfortunately, the premix fuel issues, which preceded the likes of Hawa Kumsin, also adversely impacted our gains. And I think that this time the MPP has managed the premix fuel issues much better than before. And as a result, I think the fishermen, the coastal portions of this country have been a bit more favorable. And let me add that Elmina's current development in terms of the fish landing site where the president commissioned has really brought about a different perception, because the people have gone and experienced what that development was really about, and the fact that it is actually and will always be in the interest of the residents of that area, and that the MPP did not go out there to rather do damage. And I'll always cite some of the political losses we made when Kufuor was working on Kaswa, and the market women opposed the developmental agenda of making Kaswa what it is today. And we suffered for it in the last election. So not to discount all of the things for bringing on Jane, but I'm just saying that I would not say that the loss of seats in the central region was largely because of the Jane effect. To some extent, maybe, but not because I think politically those developmental things, and it happens in the rest of the world, where you want to develop real estate, and you relocate people, even Akosombo, when Kwame Nkrumah was relocating people from Akosombo to bring about this dam that now the entire world, reveres the people of Akosombo, and even as of today, Akwemu State still belabors the point that they were not dealt well. And you know that when this village even occurred, this history came up again, that, hey, you displaced us, you've displaced that again. And these are some of the things that are a bit unfavorable politically. So I'll beg to differ on that end. However, like I said, my mother is listening to me. I think that the MPP, Hawa Yakubu, at some point was also considered for vice presidentship. So this narrative necessarily is not very new to us, the MPP. We embrace it.
Considered is different from Yakubu has never been nominated as a president.
I said given consideration. And for politics,
it's not enough.
If you
take the bold
allow
step,
me to
take
land,
the bold step,
for politics,
as President Mahama has done.
Even consideration at some point in time in the history of politics is very important. And I believe that, MPP has always demonstrated that we go always after competence, not necessarily gender or religion. And I believe that it might be a bit premature for me to make a lot of noise, because as it stands, in a few weeks to come, Dr. Bawumia would also unveil his vision and in terms of who he's partnering with for the next election. But one thing is very clear. Jane will not be any match for Dr. Bawumia when it comes to the depth and knowledge in terms of economic management, and more importantly, let me add that I think I gave you your fair chance, and I believe that.
I want you to repeat
one of the key things.
He's not proud to repeat it.
One of the key things is the fact that we're going to leapfrog using technology and technological advancement for the next foreseeable decade in terms of what Dr. Bawumia is bringing on board.
Do you speak Ghana? I would know Ghana.
Oh, no need to buy passion. Many she care about me.
The winter will be like a man who are
Oh, fine. So I really think that I give a lot of respect to Professor. To be a professor, now no be easy. But I really think that I was thinking, as Edu was asking, who would match Dr. Bawumia in terms of his ability to mount the podium and make very powerful arguments. Powerful arguments.
The podium talk.
And as it stands now,
you think Ghanaians will fall for podium talk again?
The two combined will not be able to match His Excellency Bawumia when it comes to
to podium talk.
Given a very massive debate.
Ghanaians want reality. Want to see
but that is
in their lives.
No,
can
I ask you a question?
Can they match?
Can I ask you
if there's a debate?
Can I ask you a question?
Can they match him?
Oh, why not? Let's have a debate. Let's organize a debate. Are you sure? Why not?
I believe that Dr. Bawumia will floor
let me say
when it comes to debate.
Let me say this.
Would you argue otherwise?
Let me say this.
Would you argue otherwise?
Podium talk at
let
this
me
time.
tell you something.
Yeah.
Okay. No, this man gave a lecture for about 3 hours just recently. I'm waiting to see, the two of them combined do that.
Talk.
No. It's not empty. There was substance.
It is the vice president who said that the best determinant of the state of your economy is your pocket.
Well, I mean, even Kufuor has also said it.
It's not podium.
He didn't say that.
It's not podium talk.
The best determinant of your economy is sophistry and
long lectures.
And lectures. Look,
but people listen.
Are you aware?
People listen.
Are you aware of this post? My lecture on restoring the value of the city can be found at the website www something. free. Go and download it. Are you aware of that?
No, you're saying that we should go back to.
I am asking you.
Yeah, I'm
I will
trying
be
to
very specific with you.
Yeah.
I'm asking if you are aware that there was a lecture on restoring the value of the city.
Oh yes.
And the following day,
yes,
we were shown where we can find that lecture to go and download for free.
Yeah, but the key thing is that, you see.
No, I'm just asking you. So
where
that's
we are in a post-COVID economy.
This is 26th of March, 2014, at 7:36 a.m. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, my lecture on restoring the value of the city can be downloaded here. Thanks. In 2014.
Yes.
What happened to all these prescriptions?
My key point is that,
Chief,
listen, reality.
Chief, what happened to all these prescriptions?
No. The thing is that, listen, we had forward-looking statements. Unbeknownst to us was COVID. Unbeknownst to us was Russia, Ukraine. No. I think you have to admit.
It's okay. Let's close.
And I must say that
because of John Kuma, I don't.
The country will be in much better hands.
Let's close. It's okay.
In Parliament, there's a certain practice when your opponent is debating, it's not going well. Then you say, Dr. Panye.
Listen. My key thing, like I said.
You reminded us that mommy is watching, right?
Like I said, I don't know who our running mates.
Mommy, please forgive him, man. Forgive him. It's still morning. It's still morning.
I'm not spoken in terms of Jane's reputation.
We should go and do a debate.
No. What I'm saying is
in 2024.
So it's not going to be about debate.
He wants podium talk.
I have just shown you. We were shown where to go and download how to restore the value of the city.
Have you
10 years ago.
We didn't know.
Have you checked the exchange rate today, Doc? Have you checked the exchange rate today?
It could have been worse. Been worse.
When we are not even paying our debt.
The exchange rate could have been worse. So in concluding, I think that kudos to the NDC for making your selection a bit in advance of ours. But I think that, and let me add that John Kuma would have been a fantastic addition to our leadership if he was even considered or nominated. But here it is, he's gone, and nothing we can do about it. But you've done well. You've brought the same players who we know how to manage, and I think that the MPP has all that it takes to match this let me say partnership, because we've had you in the ring before, and whatever it took us to give you a gap of 500,000 votes, we will make sure we do that come December 2024.
Okay.
And I think that to conclude, the MPP has also shown its truthfulness with affirmative action. Right now, our majority deputy leader is a woman, and that is commendable when you think of it. And we are also very particular about.
We have a deputy whip who is a woman too.
Oh yes, we had
Honorable
Lydia,
Doyo,
who was also within the whip system. So what I'm trying to say is that the MPP is very cognizant of the role of women in politics, and we would not discount it. And we've proven that we are also for women in politics, and we aspire for that day, that one day we would have a first lady of the land, and MPP, I think, will be one of the very first parties to bring a woman as a presidential candidate, not as a vice president necessarily, but a presidential candidate.
I'm sure it will be refreshing. That will certainly be refreshing.
So we'll beat you to that, I'm very sure. And I think that, I must also add that the NDC's temperament yesterday, after dialogue with the AEC, I must commend them finally for coming to the table to discuss electoral commission issues. I must say I saw Dr. Boama admittedly saying that the roadmap is a bit clearer for them. And I was worried initially, because when you have an opposition party not agreeing or happy with EC or the referee, then it creates a lot of...
They have no issues.
But it's because the EC has made a U-turn. The EC has abandoned the non-indelible ink. The EC has abandoned the change of election date. So, I mean, we are reasonable.
Agreeable.
Yeah,
agreeable. But the key thing...
What about, there was something, I think Graphic Online did a speculative piece on the calendar. And in that piece, what they showed created the impression that we're going to have different dates for balloting for presidential and parliamentary. Has that been resolved with this thing?
Well, I'll have to check with Dr. Manibuama if it's been resolved. But I
Because
see
we
that,
know that
they want to do registration in May.
We know that the practice had been that once the presidential ballot is done, the parliamentary follows same.
Yes.
So when I saw this one, admittedly, that was the Graphic Online speculative thing, their scoop. But that created the impression that there will be separate balloting for presidential and separate for parliamentary. That's what I want to find out.
I see something in September, on September 13th, for nomination of presidential and parliamentary. Okay, and then balloting for position on presidential will be on the 23rd of September.
Yes,
and then that for parliamentary will be also on the 24th.
So it means that there are two separate...
Presidential will be on the 23rd.
Okay, so Doc says it's been resolved now. Yeah, he says it's been resolved.
That has been resolved.
Yeah. They say parties with presidential candidates will not double ballot. Yeah.
Because that was the impression that created.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
So that is, I must say that it's always good to be at the table when these discussions are happening, unlike before when they boycotted and kept boycotting and was rather, crying in the media domain. So this is a remarkable change in your behavior, and I must commend the NDC, at least for now changing. Now, as it stands, I think that this also brings about a bit more credibility so that whoever loses, and when the NDC should lose in 2024, December, they'll be more agreeable than they were. And I hope that this time your numbers will be, better calculated and on time, unlike before. Because the last election, I'm still waiting for your election numbers.
You just reminded me of Professor Mills. God bless his soul. Zeufiasem.
Okay.
Oh no!
All right.
I'm just making a key point.
Yes.
I'm just making a key point here.
Unfortunately, we couldn't look at the
visit to the world's most expensive kids.
Yeah. We don't have time. So
we didn't see you at the media engagement.
I wasn't aware.
Or because you got hint that soldiers will be there, you decided to.
Oh no!
What happened?
That would not be a reason for my
chicken out.
I
didn't. Very courageous.
No, if I knew, I would have been there.
Why? What happened?
Well, we had a commissioning visit to the world's most expensive
opposition.
Have you heard that you were? Have you heard that?
Since when did opposition commission? When there's a government in power?
Have you heard that what you did amounted to mocking?
We are demanding accountability. $58.1 million.
Have you commissioned all the things that
58.1 million dollars? $58.1 million, over 740 million Ghana cedis, and all we see is a pit. The world's most expensive pit.
This is rather ridiculous.
At the time they had spent $30 million, it was still a pit. Bishop Dakeward Mills resigned, and he said that he couldn't sit well with his conscience. We went there to on a significant day. You told
us that the president you are certain.
You were in Parliament. You were in Parliament when the finance minister came to announce. The president also talked about commissioning on 6 March 2024.
All of our projects that we are working on.
You should be embarrassed about how much money we are wasting on these fruitless exercises.
No.
If you consider, if you,
that's how we should look for $250 million and add it to finish.
It is so irritating, so annoying that they I don't know who was speaking, whether it's Kusi Boateng or Edu Jemfi.
But you met him recently.
Me at where?
Oh, you didn't meet him?
It's
bad. I didn't meet him.
So
we are not in government. And
that's the commissioning.
So now opposition can commission.
So who paid for the balloons?
Volunteers brought it. Those
so this is not taxpayers' money?
No, it's not taxpayers' money.
So where is the reverend person?
Let me congratulate Nicholas and co, the young men who put this together. They did a great job, for free. Yeah. The world's most expensive pit. Look, we will retrieve all those money. David Ajay, who is keeping at $19.6 million, he will cough.
How can you commission?
Carrie Summers, who is keeping at $6 million,
this is so wrong.
He will bring it back. We will retrieve it.
Shall we go and commission all the things you
Kusi Boateng, $2.6 million. They will all those.
No, is that what you're
all
asking
those
for?
who have looted in the name of this scam.
You could maybe make
project.
These things allegations.
They will retrieve it.
I really think that this.
We presented. Did you follow the program?
All the e-blogs
we have a 13-point demand. I'll share a copy with you.
The many blogs you didn't finish.
We made 13 demands.
And hospital projects.
We said that the board of trustees should be dissolved. The secretary should be dissolved. Do you know how much has gone to the secretary so far? $225 million.
Shall we commission
it's
all the
a
roads
tax
you didn't
guzzler.
finish?
It should be dissolved. And if you see their organogram,
who?
The National Cathedral Secretary.
They
have a very elaborate.
Is that we spent how much on them?
225 million cedis has been. Yes.
I have many projects
Ken
in my presidency that
account
started at
to the Port of Essential Committee.
All right, okay.
And then this contract, do you know that?
I understand.
As long as the
all
contract
the unfinished Mahama projects, I'll go and commission them.
Dr. Nobody is stopping you. Go and do it.
I mean, if you can do this, then
I don't know if President Mahama announced any commissioning date. In
Parliament. You are even commissioned unfinished projects.
But
I'm
look,
not surprised.
President Mahama has never engaged in such a scandalous endeavor. Do you know that when I did an RTI request to the PPA about this project, they said they know nothing about it?
Okay.
5th July 2022.
If it's under the purview of the presidency.
The Public Procurement Authority. No, you can't do that.
If it's under the purview of the presidency.
You cannot do that.
Not all of things are,
The Public Procurement Authority says they have no knowledge of this project.
We need to
Meanwhile, every day we are paying for suspension time cost. We are paying for the abortive works. We are paying for we are paying for the abandonment cost for 2 years. That is why we say that this contract should be terminated.
Okay, today is the birthday of Mr. Joseph Adekoka. Chairman Adekoka. Today is his birthday. Yes. So happy birthday to you, Chairman Adekoka. Happy birthday to you.
I think
as well.
That's nice.
So Dr. Manibuama says that a very successful and forward-looking IPAC meeting has just ended. Says kudos to all stakeholders. Beautiful. And it says that guarantor system maintained, indelible ink maintained, no continuous registration of voters, dates for transfer and proxy maintained on the calendar, limited registration to be done in district offices, and agreed difficult to reach areas in electoral areas, movement plan to be shared 21 days to 7th May. No new polling stations will be created, but new polling centers will be created by splitting polling stations with voters above 749 after limited registration. And it says he's waiting for your ASIN not collated results.
He's actually also an Oboba, so that's why I worry him sometimes.
Okay, yeah, that's true. So we need to go, but the future is here. But the big question is, where is the leadership? We're going to find that out this morning. I have an interview with Professor Kweku Etuahinijima. Do you know that a Ghanaian is the number 2 innovation scholar in the world? The number 2 innovation scholar in the world is a Ghanaian.
In New York or California?
That's Professor Kweku Etuahinijima.
Oh, I see.
And I had the greatest privilege of having him as the supervisor for my doctoral work. So I'll be talking to him soon about this.
Nice.
Yes. So we'll be back with the Future Ready Leadership Summit, and Professor Kweku Etuahinijima is here with me, and I'll be having a chat with him right after this break.
Yeah, hello. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
one bowl food.
No, we have food at home.
Let's all join the ride to make our nation great and strong.
To help meet your business and private printing needs successfully, we have just the right products and services. At Appointed Time Printing Limited, we specialize in digital printing, offset printing, packaging and security printing. Our innovative designs and complete professional touch on our print products such as posters, flyers, brochures, magazines, whole cards and any other print solution of your choice ensure that our customers are always happily connected to their audience. With our security printing section, our clients are assured of a highly secured and confidential work process from start to finish. At Appointed Time, our prices are very, very competitive. Locate us at the old GNTC building near Swansea Shopping Arcade, Accra. Contact us on 0501 454165, 0501 454167. Appointed Time Printing Limited. Our printing is the solution.
Are you tired as a consumer in Ghana when it comes to issues that confront you as a consumer? Worry no more. Kofi Capito, I'm here to give you the information, all that you need to make sure that your right is protected as a consumer. We have too many laws and agencies that should protect the right of the consumer. I am here to give you the information that will help and assist you to get goods and services delivered to you without any worries. Watch the Capito Show on Metro TV.
Let's all join the ride to make our nation great and strong.
Right, welcome back to the show, and I have an interesting interview coming up right now. Now, they say that the future is here, but the big question is, where is the future that is on us? And there's a summit coming up next Wednesday, the 13th of March, 2024. And this is the maiden edition of this summit, which is the Future Ready Leadership Summit, and it's by the Nobel International Business School, NIPS, and I have with me here the founder of NIPS, okay, and I also had the privilege of having him supervise my doctoral work. Professor Kweku Etuahene Jima is here with me on the show. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
You're still looking good.
Thank you, you too.
For those who don't know about NIPS, let's start off a bit about NIPS. And so Nobel International Business School, what's NIPS?
NIPS is a doctoral school. Mm-hmm. We created NIPS for a specific purpose. Mm-hmm. And the purpose was to give opportunity to executives to be able to understand how to do research, find ways of improving knowledge, and being able to share that knowledge. We started NIPS back in 2014, and so this year we have 10 years. And so far, we've graduated or close to 250 doctorates.
Wow.
Which is phenomenal. So essentially, that's NIPS. We are here to close knowledge gaps in executive decision making.
You are accredited?
Very well accredited. Otherwise, I'll go to jail, right? We are accredited by the by GTEC. I think this is institutional accreditation. This is our third one, which is now given to us last year to 2028, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So which programs do you run?
We run two main types of programs. You know, in the doctorate sphere, you have what we call professional doctorates. That is doctorates that are designed for executives, experienced executives. And then we have the academic doctorate, which is the PhD.
Like an MBA and an MPhil.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we run both sides. But in the professional doctorate, we do have two types. One is the Doctor of Leadership, and one is the Doctor of Business Administration. And then the PhD, we have general PhD in Business Administration, but we have 5 concentrations, if you like.
Okay.
We do have a small program called the Executive MBA. Hopefully, we will expand that in the future. But essentially, we're a doctorate school. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yourself, Professor Kweku Etuahini-Jima, I mean, who are you? Where did you emerge from?
Well, in terms of schooling,
I know you are a Ghanaian.
Yeah, of course I'm a Ghanaian. Yeah. Schooling, I emerged from Achirensua Secondary School.
Achirensua?
Yes.
Okay.
You probably haven't heard of that.
I have.
Oh, you have. Very good. Yes. We've produced quite some prominent people. From Achirensua Secondary School, I went to Infant Spim School.
Okay.
And then from there, I went to Legon.
Okay.
And after that, I went to Australia to do my PhD, Master's and PhD.
Okay.
And since that time, I've been working, I think from the 1992, that was when I finished my PhD. I worked in Hong Kong, I worked in UK, I worked in China, mainly Shanghai. And then 2014, I decided to come to Ghana to set up a new school. And the new school is the China Europe International Business School.
CIBS?
CIBS.
You set it up?
I set it up in Ghana.
Oh, really?
Yes. So I was the director for 5 years.
Okay.
And it got to a point you want to do new things. So I decided to quit to set up NIPS.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the journey, kind of in a nutshell.
So NIPS is your creation?
NIPS is my creation.
Okay.
SIPS is not my creation, but I brought it from Shanghai to
Ghana.
To Ghana.
And then you created NIPS?
Yes.
Okay. Now, at the time when I was pursuing my doctorate, you were the number 2 innovation scholar in the world.
Yeah.
Are you still number 2, or you've risen to number 1, or you've dropped to number 3?
I don't know. That's an interesting question, because these kind of rankings do come on and off. So unless somebody does another ranking, this ranking that you're mentioning was published in the Journal of Product Innovation Management, where I was in the editorial board for a number of years. So unless I see another ranking, similar ranking, but this one is based on single-authored academic papers published in the top 10 business and management journals, right? So if somebody comes in and does another ranking, then of course we see where we are. But I think an interesting ranking these days is the done by the Stanford University researchers on the top 2% scientists in the world, right? And that's also based on academic papers. And that one has, for the past 4 years, ranked me as part of the top 2%. In the management area, I think the first time was 150 over 36,000 people. I don't know, I've not been following the subsequent ones, but you can check that. Yeah.
All right. Now, Prof, I'm sure, and this is something that you've talked about in your class many times, but for the benefit of our viewers, one of the key issues that people have raised is what they see as a gap between theory and practice.
Yes.
And the fact that they see a lot of titles, but our problems keep getting worse.
Yes.
People speak about a certain gap or a lack of correlation between the lecture hall and industry.
Yeah.
Basically, theory and practice.
Yes.
That we're so theoretical.
Yeah.
We seem to know all the right things. We seem to say all the right things, but we're unable to do all the right things. And so what's happening to us, our reality is not a reflection of all the things that we claim to have knowledge about.
Yeah. I think that's an interesting observation. Now, the basic understanding that we should get is that theory is good, right? Theory is not, simply theory is a logical explanation of a potential relationship, right? So if I want to do A, then I want to know what should I do before I can get A? If I can get some constructs or some variables that I could explain A, and I have a logical relationship between them, I can produce a logical reasoning to expect a relationship between them. That is theory, right? In other words, it gives me a chance to predict that something could happen if I do A. B will happen. Now, the problem you're alluding to is the implementation side. In other words, people know this, but then because of certain things, they don't do it. In fact, what we're going to, the conference we're going to have, or the summit we're going to have, relates to this. When we get into details, I will explain what future ready means. So you can learn a lot. We gave you a lot of research methods, we gave you theory, we gave you everything. Now you have the knowledge. The key issue is who is going to implement it and what. And that's what makes studies interesting, because we all learn the same thing, but certain people do it in a different way, and others don't actually do it or do it in the wrong way.
The application.
The application. So theory is not bad. It has been done with us for a long, long time, and it's continued to be with us.
It's an important foundation.
It's an important foundation to what we do. But how we do it is a different matter.
Okay, so let that lead us into why we're actually here this morning. So this is the maiden edition of the NAPES Future Ready Leadership Summit. And you make a statement. You say the future is here.
Yeah.
But you ask a question. Where is the leadership? Why this?
Okay, the reason is quite simple. Just picture this scenario, right? Where you have a firm or organization. Everybody says, oh, it is run by top leaders. They are very intelligent. They are brave. They have good networks and things like that. And it goes on for a long time. Everything, so this company is so great. But all of a sudden, one day, it collapses. Now you ask yourself, why? How can that be? How can we have a company that's run by the most intelligent people, but all of a sudden collapses? Now the problem is that in Ghana and in other parts of the world, the leadership discourse has not focused on this issue. What we focus on is servant leadership, this, things that we do today, right? But the core to leadership is about taking the organization to a prosperous future. And if you're going to take the organization to a prosperous future, you've got two problems. One is you have to deal with what is today to make sure that you're competitive, you're profitable, and all that. The other is you have to deal with what's going to happen tomorrow. Now, unfortunately, that's what the theory says, right? But unfortunately, we have companies that are not able to do both simultaneously, right? So you have the Kodaks and now these, all of a sudden, good companies. Now, the problem is that naturally, we know the theory that we have to do both simultaneously, but we continue to do the current one most effectively and neglect the future one, right? In other words, we fall into what we call a capability rigidity paradox. And that's essentially an academic kind of word, right? But what it says is that we reinforce our current capabilities. We develop our current skills, our processes, and things like that. Why? Reasonable, because it makes us good today. That makes us compete. But the environment doesn't wait for us. It continues to change. So moment when the environment changes, we are fan-wanting because we haven't built the future capabilities to take care of the future. You see what I mean? So this conference is about how we resolve this. Because if we are not able to do that, if the leadership discourse does not focus on this issue, You saw a lot of companies collapsing everywhere, particularly recently. They might say, well, maybe there's external regulatory action, but that's not the issue. The issue is, why couldn't you predict and prepare for the potential escalation or...
How did others survive?
Exactly, right? So the conference is about tackling this issue to make sure that we understand that you have to do both simultaneously, and it's not easy.
So that's what you mean by, we all know the reality is that this is the present.
Yeah.
So the reality is that the present is with us.
Yes.
But you are saying that the reality is that the future is also here with us.
Exactly, because you have to deal with that today, prepare for it today. If you predict that something is going to happen 5-10 years from now, right, a good leader should have peripheral vision. You have to have foresight to be able to say, well, what are the new technologies coming in? How will they affect the marketplace? How will they affect my company? What are the new skills I need? The environment in terms of work is changing. What kind of different type of employees do I need in the future and all that? You have to cater for today to build your capability to compete. But you also have to start thinking about, how do I invest for the future? If you are not able to do this simultaneously, then you lead to that capability rigidity paradox. No organization or no leader is immune to that. It happens. Let me tell you, back in 2005, I got a research grant from the Hong Kong government to study this issue. The simple question I wanted to ask is, why do successful firms fail? Right, which boils down to this issue. I did a study with Chinese firms in the Haidian district in Beijing, and the study is published, I think I mentioned this in class before. The study is published in the American Journal of Marketing, October 2005. Now that's my famous paper, actually won an award, right? And it's the most cited paper. And what it tells you is that many leaders are not able to do this combination of the present and the future, building capabilities at the same time, because of a few issues. The mental model. For example, that research shows that if leaders have a threat rigidity model, the way they think is a threatening thing, right? In other words, the competition is strong. If I don't do A, B, and C, I'm going to die in the marketplace. So what they do is to reinforce the current capabilities. And the politics and the reward system in the organization reinforces your ability to meet what you need today.
So they keep doing the same thing.
Exactly. And when they keep doing the same thing, what happens in the future, those capabilities are now hindrances. That's why it's rigidity, right? They are now hindrances to your success in the future. So if you don't break that threat rigidity model mindset, you're not going to help a leaders doing this.
Right.
That research shows that if leaders have opportunity mindset, they tend to be creative and start doing what I'm talking about. The other issue that paper brought up is that we currently, as leaders, always think about current customers. Now, when we think about current customers, what do we think? We have to satisfy them. We have to create new products that suit them. But remember, we cannot create any product that a customer has no experience of if you talk to them, right? So we fall into what we call the customer trap. When you fall into a customer trap, what is going to happen is that the whole resource allocation of the firm, system of the firm, is now influenced by the customer. So you don't do anything that the current customers do not want, right? But the world is moving along, right? So what happens is that later on in the future, your customers are now leaving. And that's what happened to Kodak, for example, right? Although Kodak actually created the digital camera technology, it couldn't use it to help itself. Other people used it to kill Kodak. Why? Because Kodak did not want to cannibalize its own products, the film, right? And the same thing happens because they are in a customer trap. So our aim here is to try and let leaders understand this dilemma and this paradox and how you can actually manage it. And that is why this conference is so important. We actually did a research recently to explore this issue, whether leaders in Ghana actually know about this or do know how to deal with it. And a few results that I have here for you. Now, first and foremost, we asked the question, How crucial is it?
And when you say leaders, you're talking about business leaders.
Business leaders,
right.
not political leaders.
Yes.
Business leaders.
Right.
Some of the respondents in this paper are actually some of our former students.
Right.
So it's a leadership, AGI people. And so we asked the question, in your opinion, how crucial is it for business leaders and CEOs to be well versed in leadership that effectively navigates future issues, right? 89% say yes, very crucial, right? Only about 11% says no.
Not too crucial.
Yeah. But then you ask the question, 2 questions here. One is, how do you describe your organization's receptiveness to change? 45% are embracing change. 55% don't.
So although 89% appreciate the need for it, 55% are not doing anything about it.
Exactly. You see the point. And then you come here, specifically. We ask, are you aware of the concept of future-ready leadership? Right? 70% say no.
7%?
70%.
70%?
Yes.
They are not aware?
They are not aware. Only the highly aware is 29%.
Wow.
You see the point here? The disconnect between what they believe and what the action they do, right? Another one, if you look here, are you interested, how interested would you be in a formal discussion among your peers on future-ready leadership? Here we got 95%. And that's why we decided to launch this thing, right? So you can see there's a disconnect between what we think is right to be done as leaders, but in practice, we don't do them. The question is why? And some of the answers we want to hopefully produce during the discussion.
So what's going to happen on the 13th?
Okay.
To enable us appreciate this and practice it.
Okay. We decided to really do our due diligence to select a good number of people who we think can deal with this topic, right? I got a little list here because the actual issues that we tackle, for example, we have Dr. Ajekum Donko, who is the president of ECOWAS Bank.
Yes.
Yeah, a former student. Now, he's going to tell us about how he transformed this bank to what it is today. And in that, I will be speaking after he's spoken, because I want to hear what he says and try to digest it and see whether there are ingredients, and we know, because I've read there are ingredients of this future readiness in there. So that I can give a good example to leaders as to if they don't use the word future ready leadership, right? But the things that they do reflect this idea.
So there's been a transformation, but what you have done and what you're doing, does it take into cognizance the issues of the future?
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
Are you ready for the future? The future is here.
Exactly.
But are you ready?
Exactly. The thing is that leaders do a lot of things in the organizations. And we academics, our responsibility is to see what leaders do and then transform that into models and ideas and theories that other people can then respond to and use, right? I did a case of a bank in Ghana here, and I presented it to the same bank, and they didn't know the case was about them. Do you understand what I mean?
Whoa.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah?
They didn't commission you?
They didn't commission me. I did. They were doing interesting things here on the radio and things like that, so I decided to explore and write a case with Patricia, which was my research assistant at SIPS in Ghana. And we did that case. That case was actually so interesting. It was published in the Financial Times of London. Okay. Right? But when I presented it to the bank, they didn't realize it was their bank. You see my point? Because they are doing things that they cannot put labels on to show how to teach someone. And we academics are supposed to do that, and that's what we do. So what is going to happen here is we have somebody like Sir Sam Jonah coming to talk to us about very important subject. How do you develop these future-ready leaders? How do you do that? Right? And again, he's going to draw on his experiences to tell us what kind of leaders he's produced and how they've been able to navigate the problems and ensure the firms and what he dealt with are prosperous, right? Now we have very interesting one Engineer Patricia Obonai.
Yes. Vodafone.
She's the Vodafone, now called Telecel.
Okay.
Yeah. Vodafone is the only company that I saw through my research on this conference that has actually done a study and published it about future readiness of Vodafone.
Whoa.
Yes. Right? And I hope she's coming with a big dossier of material to explain why they did that and what they found and how that has helped them to develop as an organization. So with these kind of presentations, we'll be able to hopefully rejig people's mindset and for them to start thinking about how do we balance tomorrow and today at the same time, which is perhaps the most difficult part of leadership.
All right. So it's starting at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
It's an all-day event.
Yes.
Till about
and we are lucky to have you to moderate that,
right? I couldn't have said no. I couldn't have said no. Yes, so I'll be moderating.
Yes.
Yes. And I see there are a lot of interesting speakers.
Yes.
I've actually seen Tosin.
Yeah, Tosin.
My doctoral mate.
Yes. Yeah, we have
He's in
Tosin,
the energy sector.
Energy sector, he's coming. We have Dr. Philip Otimens, who is coming.
Omni Basic.
Yeah, Omni Basic.
Yes. I've seen my brother, Dr. Victor Abe, Captain.
Captain is coming.
Yes. And then from GRA.
From GRA, we have Dr. Amishadai, who is coming.
Yes.
Quite a number of Dr. Yele Okeremi is coming from Nigeria on this one.
Yes.
You know, so
he's in the IT space, right?
Yeah, he's in the IT space. Yeah. Yes. So the response has been great. So what we've decided to do is to be selective. This is not one of the big 500 people conference. This is going to be a small conference. The reason for that is that we want to make sure that we have interaction and good debates and good discussion, right? So what we've decided to do is that we make it free now.
So it's free?
It's free. Okay. And people can, but it's by invitation only.
Okay.
So what we do is that you call the numbers on the screen.
So that's 0267 349 147. 0267 349 147 or 0244 202 949. 0244 202 949.
Yes, and so when you call, then they have a few questions and things like that, and then they will give you a ticket to come. So that's the idea.
So 13th of March 2024, that's next week, Wednesday, at the Mervyn Peak Ambassador Hotel in Accra. It starts at 8 a.m.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So at the end of this session, what do you expect to achieve?
Okay.
Is it going to be one of, you see, we have a lot of these sessions, so it happens. People come, they talk, people ask questions, and then what?
Okay, two things probably will happen. One is that we have, the study that I spoke to you about. Yes. We're preparing the report, and we hope to collect a few more data during the conference. So we have the questionnaire there, so that people can also complete, and then we put it together. So they'll have that report, right? The second thing that would happen is that, as an institution, because if we see that there's enthusiasm on this, that helps us then to develop programs that deal with this issue, right? What we call the School of Executive Development. We have short programs that deal with this issue. We deal with a lot of issues, but following this, we will then develop programs that actually let people come in to understand this issue, how to deal with it. The third thing that would happen is that we hope that some people that may come in the future to do our doctorates will take programs like this, as their doctorate topics, right? Yeah. And finally, next thing that will happen is that we'll be preparing for the next session next year, right? So we want to have this conversation as a long-term one, hopefully, so that we will be able to change the DNA of leadership. Because remember, the core of leadership is not what's happening today. Managers can take care of that, right? What is happening tomorrow is your responsibility. The problem is, how do you combine looking after today and the future at the same time? And if we can resolve that, a lot of things positive will happen.
All right. So, Prof, I'll let you go, but let me ask this question.
Yes, go ahead.
Why must anybody be interested in or aspire to have an academic or a professional doctorate? Why?
There are a lot of reasons for this. Now, and this is not my statement, because we've done research about people that have come through us, and we want to know why they decided to do that. There are a lot of reasons. One major reason is that they want to leave a legacy. You know, we are all in this world for a short period of time, right? We all go. Whether you're young or old, we all go.
One of us is left.
One of us just left.
Dr. John Kuma.
Kuma.
Yes.
Yeah.
For those of you who do not know, he had his doctorate at NIPS.
Yes. Yeah, he's left, right? The question is, what do you leave behind? What's the legacy? And to me, the best legacy you can give to your children, your family, everybody, the society, is knowledge. And that's why a doctorate is so important, because it helps you to uncover a gap in our knowledge base and then fill that gap. And hopefully, as time goes on, people will read and remember you for that. That's the first thing. The second one is that in practice, some people want to change their careers and things like that. So some people want to go into lecturing, some people want to go into consulting and all that. And these kind of research skills are very important for those professions. And in fact, some of our students are now teaching in universities, and some are doing the consulting and all that. The other thing is that, remember, this school is, our main target is experienced executives. Which means that these people may have kids who are probably in secondary school, or even some of them may have doctorates, kids that have doctorates. So one reason why people come here is that they want to show to their kids that even at this age of mine, I can still do this thing. So it's a kind of an example to the kids that you don't stop learning. You can go ahead and learn as much as possible. And the final one is quite interesting. And that is, and that actually is in the slogan we have, discover, lead, share, right? So you discover something, you become a practitioner scholar, you lead that, and then you share. And these three things are very important for your reputation, your standing in the industry, your standing in the society. So these are very, very important reasons why people should do this. And at SIPS, we make it easier for you to do it, because our program is designed to be executive friendly, as you realize.
Is it too expensive?
It's not that expensive compared to other programs around the world. It's not expensive, but we particularly for ladies, we have good incentives for everybody, but particularly for ladies, we do have very extra incentives for them to undertake such a program.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I've had a privilege of saying thank you to you, but on this set, on my Good Morning Ghana, let me say a big thank you to you.
I mean, you know the problems we went through, even discovering the gap in knowledge and all that. And these are skills that you don't
At a point,
get.
I got frustrated. You remember one day I told you that if we have to change the topic again, I might stop.
Exactly. You know, so I think it's an important journey and it's important experience.
And the day, what I'd never forget, and I tell people, is the day I walked into your office and I told you that 2020 is an election year in Ghana. With what I do, if I don't finish by 2019, I get into 2020, I'll have to defer. And if I defer, I might not come back. Then what you did was that you went to check the Australian laws. And you said that, well, I've checked with Australian law. You can be allowed to finish in 2 weeks. The rest is up to you. I'll be here to help you. You know? And that motivated me, and I was able to do it in 2 years. Thank you very much.
I think that's a good testimony.
Springer published my first academic publication. Now we're working on the book.
Very good.
You've agreed to do the foreword for me.
Exactly. I will do that for you. No problem.
So thank you very much, Prof.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you.
We'll see you on the 13th.
13th. Mervyn Peak Ambassador Hotel, 8 a.m. But the numbers I gave you, please register, and I'll be speaking to you a lot more about this from Monday. Up next, Metro Sports.